Hello my friends, welcome to Dave's Skillet. Today's menu, hobo stew. So, there's a lot of ways to make that. So this is just one rendition of my version of hobo stew. Here we go. Hobo stew. Well. I think first we're going to have to start off with the meat, because that's going to have to be cooked first in the pot. So I got to season that, salt and pepper. That's about it for seasoning. And then it has to be floured, and we'll do that in the pot. In fact, we'll do everything in the pot. I've got carrots, celery, onion, and 2 potatoes. They're not that big. One of them's not that big. You can see the size of it. And this one's a little bit bigger. You can use a giant potato if you have just one. That'll work too, whatever. I've got a tablespoon and a half of garlic, minced garlic. Here I've got Himalayan salt, parsley, garlic powder, pepper, and a beef bouillon cube from one of these packets. And they kind of come out of the pack looking like that. Now you can use regular beef bouillon that you get in a can or a container of it. I just don't want to use one of those right now. So we're going to start, and I got to cut the potatoes up yet, but we're going to go ahead and start the beef that goes in the pot. And then we will start it. Start it in a rice cooker. Way to go, huh? A little bit of pepper. Hobo stew is a pretty old recipe. Pretty much, you can use whatever you like, because if I was a hobo, I would be using whatever I could get my hands on, really. So the ingredient package, completely up to you what you're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and start the beef. We're going to saute it, because this rice cooker can do that. So we're going to do the saute part. I'll just move this over here. And that'll start in a few minutes, and then we will begin. And I pulled that off the fire for a minute because I don't want to cook them all the way through. So we're going to add the flour. It's 2 tablespoons of flour I just put in there. And we just get that. Ooh, that's still hot, isn't it? I had a phone call and I had to stop what I was doing. But we're back at it. I was looking for hobo recipes to see what do they put in this stuff, you know? What kind of spices and whatnot. But I really can't find anything, locked down. This is how you do it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm winging it here. We'll put that back in the cooker. I'm going to move the camera because you don't want to look at my heat pad thing. And got to move this up so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm playing the slidey thing over here. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there so it doesn't start burning the flour, because you don't want that to happen. That should do. That should do. So we get that going like that. I think that's good enough. And now I'm going to add my veggies. It's a pretty straightforward recipe as far as how you assemble it and all that. Now we stir it all up. The liquids, that's what's going to really cook this up. And I got to get those onions cooked a little bit. I want them to be translucent here shortly. And then I'll add the water. But right now I'm going to add the spice, because I can do that. I can do the spice. So here we go. And the bouillon cube went in there too. It's all mixed up real good. It's winter here in South Dakota, so I really am looking for winter kind of recipes. There goes the garlic. And get that stirred up in there. I was watching everybody on YouTube to see how they come up with their hobo stew. Even some guy over in England, he added celery to his, so I decided that's a good idea. I think I'll add some celery. My sister was telling me a story about my grandparents and my mom. Hobos would stop by their ranch and they would feed them. And I'm thinking, gosh, you know, that's brilliant. But I wonder what they made when Grandma and Grandpa weren't around and they were on their journey on the train. I got 3 cups of water over here that I'm going to add just as soon as this starts cooking. Now this is not exactly hot, it's cold, so it's lowered the temperature of what I'm doing. So I got to wait for it to get back up to speed, and then we'll be right back. I won't torture you and make you wait for that result. So I got to add about a tablespoon of tomato paste. So I'm going to add this because I like cooking with this stuff. I don't like the other tins that you have to open with a can opener and all that. So I put about a tablespoon in there. Dave's measurements. May not exactly be a tablespoon, but I'm close enough. And there we go. We put that in there. I like using that. And we'll get that stirred in there, incorporated in there. I was watching this other guy, and he was saying, put a handful for each guest of handful of beef, handful of potatoes, handful of carrots. You get the idea. For each guest. Since it's just me, I don't need to do all that. I just made enough for me. This will probably last me about 2 days, something like that. So I don't really need to go making a huge pot. This rice cooker is a 20 cup. It's about half full already, and I've not put the liquid in. So I know pretty much how long that's going to last. Good enough. So now I can go ahead and add the water because it's crackling. And I've noticed that some of the onions are already translucent. So it is doing what it's doing. You gotta turn it over again real quick here. I don't want the beef to get cooked thorough because I want it to cook with the liquid. That way it'll be really, really tender. That's going to be about 2 hours because I'm going to slow cook this spot, which is what you should be doing. You can put this recipe in a slow cooker, which would be the same thing as the rice cooker for what I'm going to do because I'm going to be emulating a slow cooker, basically. Now, water. Right up to the top of it, which means I got about a cup left. Damn, I'm good. That's pretty good. See? Easy peasy. And get that stirred up in there. And then we're going to drop the lid and put it on slow cook. I use baby carrots because I only got to cut them in half one time. I turn it off, I turn it back on. And now I'm going to put it on slow cook high. That's the thing. Hit it twice. And there. Now it went. That's it. Bang. Done. How easy is that? That's so easy, right? Anybody can cook like this. It's not difficult. We'll be back. And the dinger went off. So we get to see what we got. Whew. Okay. Gotta get this camera a little closer to the action. Okay. There we go. That works. Should be pretty good. The meat should be really tender. Although I don't know. Let's try one. There, that one's small. Oh yeah, that's gliding right in there easily. Okay, get a bit of juice. Want some juice. Oh man. It's hot. And that meat is tender. Wow. A hobo would be happy right now. I'll have to let that cool down because that is really, really hot. It's gonna melt my plastic spoon. Let's see what we can do. Actually, you know what? It needs a little bit of flavor. And I was watching somebody else say that, you know what? Instead of using salt, use soy sauce. I'm like, okay. And they were using the one that I got, low sodium. And I'm like, okay. That works for me. I gotta take the cappy thing off. So we're gonna do about a tablespoon of that. Right in there like that. I won't need any salt if I do that. I put some in earlier off camera. So I'm doing it again because I didn't put enough. So Kiko Man's low sodium. That's what I'm rolling with right now. Let's stir that in. And then I'll have a taste. I gotta take this pot out of here because it's still sitting on the heating element, which is just gonna keep it hot. So I don't want it to stay hot. Gotta get my mitts. That's going to keep me warm. Whew. Slide that out of the road. Put that right there where you can see it. In my bowl. There we go. Now, stir that up a bit. Pour me a nice bowl of this stew. Now, it's not that thick. You can make it thicker. You can put a cornstarch slurry in there and it'll be thicker. But I think soup should stay a soup. It shouldn't be a gravy, it should be a soup. Whew. And when it cools down and I put it in the fridge, it's going to thicken it up a bit anyway. Oh yeah. Wow, look at that. What's that like? I get a carrot. I try a carrot. That's good. I think that soy sauce is a chick. That did it. That ticked it. Oh yeah. And it's like way less sodium by doing it that way. Yeah. I can see that. Okay. Well, bon appetit, my friends. I hope you make it. You won't regret it because it's really good. I gotta try this potato. That's really hot. I'm gonna have to let this cool down. But you can use whatever potato you like. I used russets. That is really, really good. Yummy for my tummy. Bon appetit, my friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, will you? Because I like that. I really like that.